Assalamu alaikum. This is your host Muhammad Subhan Saleem, serving as Research Assistant at the Center of Research and Innovation in Maritime Affairs, Minhaj University Lahore. It's my pleasure to welcome our audience to another episode of our Maritime Consciousness series. In this series, we are joined by different scholars, different practitioners to discuss on different aspects of our maritime affairs in Pakistan, the topics that leads to policy discussion, that leads to such fruitful recommendations that drive our maritime policy, that drive our blue economy policies. And today we are joined by Dr. Asiya Mukhtar, who is an assistant professor at the Kinnaird College for Women Lahore. And today we are discussing on the non-traditional security challenges of the Indian Ocean region, and how it is impacting Pakistan and how it is influencing the priorities of Pakistan's policy making domain and Pakistan's decision makers. Because whenever we heard the word maritime security, we came to know that it is something like naval fleet, it is something like territorial disputes, or something like aircraft carriers. But maritime security now spans beyond the conventional security paradigm, and it now includes climate change, it includes environmental degradation, and it includes food security, energy security, and also the great game in the Indian Ocean region. And to discuss these things connected with Pakistan's maritime domain, we are joined by our guest, Dr. Asiya Mukhtar. Dr. Asiya Mukhtar, thank you very much for joining us today and to discuss these things with us.
Thank you so much for inviting me and giving me chance to have discussion with you on Indian Ocean region and non-traditional security paradigms and non-traditional security paradigm on the sphere of oceans. This is very important discussion that we must hold because waters are rather neglected part in our academia at some specific institutions we just discussed. It's not part of our simple curriculum. So, non-traditional security in Indian Ocean region, well, it's very important topic. Uh, Maritime security, as per Mahan, it's only the naval defense or it's only the warfare or defense strategies of sea lane and all, but the time has changed actually. From last 2 decades we have seen a matrix of interconnected threats. Four are very important that are interconnected. I mean, national security, human security, economic security, and environmental security. When we discuss waters, these four are interconnected. And at this point in time, we are in need to have discussion on these paradigms as far as Indian Ocean region is concerned. Strategically speaking, Indian Ocean region has very important choke points: Hormuz, Bab el Mandab, and Malacca. So the trade happening here and the economic activity and its relation with energy security and energy trade, it has made this region very important epicenter of the superpower involvement and of energy and economy. So that's very important. If you will allow me, I will just discuss further on it. In non-traditional security paradigms, we need to discuss the other than national security, the human security, because human life is associated to seas as far as fisheries are concerned. Livelihood of people, it's connected to that. And then the economic security, trade and ports and all these things, then environmental security. This is a matrix. Now the study of seas is, I must say, it is incomplete if this matrix is not discussed or if this matrix is not taken into account. Now Pakistan, as far as Pakistan is concerned, I must say that we are not giving due attention to Indian Ocean region as far as non-traditional security paradigm is concerned. Nowadays, we have seen cyber maritime nexus. Once upon a time, we used to discuss blockades, but now blockades are not as effective as the digitalized ports. They are facing cyber vulnerabilities. So, in this connection, we need to discuss Indian Ocean region. So, it's a vast paradigm. It's a vast study. I must say we should explore its further, aspects as well.
So, when you have discussed different emerging challenges, non-traditional challenges in the Indian Ocean region, in this region, now if we talk about the Indian Ocean region that facilitates a lot of international cargo and international trade via sea routes, and according to different sources, IMO and UNCTAD, around 80 to 90% of the world trade transits through the seas. And then, how do you think that Pakistan needs to think about integrating climate security, environmental security, food security, and this cyber security into their maritime security domain? Because inherently we have traditional security challenges by our neighbor India, and now besides that traditional security challenges, we have to face that non-traditional security challenges when we are coping our sea blindness. To cope that sea blindness, how effective is to understand what is non-traditional security challenges we are facing in this region?
Uh, there are two, three aspects of this question. First, a geopolitical competition that is taking place in the Indian Ocean region, and then how Pakistan should cope up with that. And with that, you are asking about the non-traditional security aspect as well. First, I will discuss the geopolitical competition that is taking place in the Indian Ocean region. This is security trilemma, because Indian Ocean region is now center of geopolitical activity right now. We can see US India partnership that you have discussed. India is modernizing its naval capabilities and incorporating all type of modern equipment with the help of US, and this is to counterbalance the China. Then we see the China maritime Silk Road, uh, deep sea ports like Gwadar. China is trying to avoid Malacca. That's the second thing. And the third, all this activity has actually created proliferation of submarines. And submarines have created another, you can say, threat, because you can face any incident or accident at any given time. So this will create not only the geopolitical dilemma, but also the environmental dilemma. So now how Pakistan should cope up with this entire thing? For that, uh, I must say, first of all, on geopolitical competition, Pakistan must avoid the bloc politics. Pakistan resists the binary choices, either US or the China. And secondly, Pakistan must maintain its strategic autonomy in its own seas. One thing, controlling water and governing water. There are two separate concepts. Pakistan must shift from controlling water to governing waters. When you will come to this paradigm, then you will be able to play a very tactful diplomacy, and with that tactful diplomacy, you will be able to incorporate the non-traditional security paradigm, elements. Talking about the environmental. I must say, resilience, then water cleanliness, water, I must say, the temperatures, because that is also all this entire activity is actually raising water temperature, and that is creating other problems on the coastal lines. So for all that activity, it is not just singling out the traditional and non-traditional, it's the combined one. In this, combining all this, Pakistan is in need to generate environmental diplomacy with all these powers involved in the Indian Ocean region and on national level as well.
So, ma'am, if we talk about the increasing involvement of extra-regional forces in the Indian Ocean region, and in the past few years, we have seen that the U.S. have merged their Indian Ocean Command and the Pacific Command into Indo-Pac Command, and now also they have reverted that decision. And besides this, they have Indo-Pacific policy of their. So China is also increasing their influence, their presence in this Indian Ocean region. How do you think that this changing strategic environment in the Indian Ocean region, added with the involvement of extra-regional forces in this region, can create challenges for Pakistan besides the non-traditional challenges that Pakistan and the whole region have to face? How specifically for Pakistan it is creating a dilemma?
Obviously, we are part of the Indus Ocean region, and sorry, the Indian Ocean region. Uh, as far as superpower involvement is concerned, it will always be there. It's not gonna go anywhere. We cannot just demand forces to go out of the marine region. They will always be there, but we have to maintain whatever our preferences are, whether it is the environmental challenges or geopolitical challenges. We have to maintain. Now, specifically Pakistan focused answer, if you will ask me, Pakistan must apply or must try a tactical diplomacy on geopolitical front, and Pakistan have to navigate very tactfully in all these pacts, in all these I must say cooperation, coordination activities going on in the IOR. That's the first thing. And the second thing, that all these activities, how they are posing non-traditional threats to the Indian Ocean region. That is the second part I must answer. Integrated climate resilience policies are required, I must say. Uh, Pakistan is in need to modernize its all equipment, its all settings on the coast, in the IOR. That will help Pakistan to come out of this dilemma.
So, I'm coming towards the non-traditional challenges. So first is the climate challenge. Pakistan, although contributes less than 1% of the greenhouse gas emission, global greenhouse gas emissions, but it is the most vulnerable, one of the most vulnerable nations in the world that is affecting from the climate change. Besides the floods in our mainland, we are also we are also facing challenges in our coastal areas. Our coastal communities are facing challenges of climate change, from soil erosion to the vulnerability of coastal infrastructure. How do you think that this is the time Pakistan needs to think towards securing their coastal regions from the effects of climate change in that regions, and how to integrate these policies, these things into their national policies?
There are three very important pillars. First of all, green naval infrastructure. Green naval infrastructure means raised docks and installation that are climate proofed. That is very, very important. And this should be done to deal with the sea rising level. Second pillar is eco based adaptation. This means expanding mangroves. Mangroves are very technical things. I mean, they not only provide the forest and natural self repairing, but also they create storm buffers. So mangroves, that are very, very important. And third very important pillar is unified national coastal zone management authority. That's very, very important. Joining efforts that are scattered right now and working towards this green naval infrastructure. That is the technical approach towards this problem. Other than just talking and doing nothing will bring no result.
Dr. Asiya, you have talked about environmental approved infrastructure in the coastal regions, and a model in our Punjab. We have the environmentally approved infrastructure buildings that the government is currently taking decisions on this, the EPA. How do you think this kind of model can be suitable, can be beneficial for our coastal regions?
As far as coastal regions are concerned, um, creating model is when you are having all statistics available to you, when you are having all information available to you, then you can go for creating a model of your own. We are watching the raising sea levels, the vanishing of mangroves. We are watching all this, and we are just seeing the submerging of the Indus Delta region. So these are things that are with us for quite longer period of time. We are watching it. Now we have to see what we can do, and what type of activities are allowed and what types of not. So this is the thing that we must integrate, and we must create a model by joining our all the management forces, whether it is federal or it is Balochistan or it is Sindh or it is the local authorities that are involved in the ocean management authorities. These scattered powers must be brought at one unified point that is necessary, so that they can take a unified and strong decision about that.
So, ma'am, if we talk about Pakistan's energy security and Pakistan's energy imports, a big chunk of our petroleum consumption came from the Gulf countries, from Strait of Hormuz. And in the recent US, Israel, and Iran war, we have seen the introduction of asymmetric warfare capabilities and asymmetric strategies. That is also the non-traditional challenge in our maritime domain. तो इसमें आप क्या देखती हैं कि पाकिस्तान किस तरह इन एसिमेट्रिक चैलेंजेस को कोप अप कर सकता है अपनी एनर्जी सिक्योरिटी को स्मूथ बनाने के लिए, अपनी एनर्जी सिक्योरिटी को सिक्योर करने के लिए, और पाकिस्तान इसके अलावा किन मेजर्स पर काम कर सकता है एनर्जी सिक्योरिटी को अपनी सिक्योर करने के लिए?
That's very interesting question. Energy security. Energy security. I mean, it's not just availability of resources at home. Every country has to import. But as far as Pakistan is concerned, we are importing 90% of our fuels via sea lanes. And very important choke point is Hormuz. So Pakistan's vulnerability is very high as far as energy security, seas, and availability of oil is concerned. So Pakistan's vulnerability is very, very high. Up, the second part of the question is how to cover it up. Uh, Very important thing is what are our reserve capabilities. Ideally speaking, in developed countries, countries are having a reserve of almost 90 days. That's the standard. Now, Pakistan at its best is having 45 to 60 days of reserves. That makes Pakistan's vulnerability more to the higher ranks. So, what to do? There are two, three things. Most of the, I must say, burden is on Karachi and Qasim Port. First of all, we need to divert this way to Gwadar side. And second thing is we have to enhance our energy reserves as far as oil is concerned. And you have discussed this ongoing war of Iran and US, and the entire world is shook so badly as far as energy is concerned, because availability of oil has become so difficult for all the nations. And Pakistan, which is having very low reserve capacity, we are facing lots more problems. So Pakistan need to do one thing, that is the port diversification, then enhance our strategic reserves, and then upgrading our merchant fleets, because Pakistan is actually using the foreign flag vessels, we need to enhance our own ships with our own flag, because right now the politics has become very, very complicated, and Hormuz has become a very hot battleground. So in these conditions, Pakistan is facing oil crisis that we have seen. It's just affecting not only the common man, but also our electricity, our economy, and all other sectors, industrial sectors. So this is very, very crucial thing, and I think for the very first time people are knowing that, see how it is important as far as trade of our oil is concerned. I mean, before that, people were not that much aware that how much seas are important as far as our oil trade is concerned. And now, Strait of Hormuz, it has actually altered everything, and everyone is, I mean, at the brink to think what are the alternatives. So Pakistan must do all these three things that I have mentioned.
So, ma'am, if we talk about the food security and matters regarding food, according to Food and Agricultural Organization, around 3 billion people in the world depends on the seafood for the direct protein, and trillions of blue economy contributes trillions of dollars in the global economy every year. And as a maritime nation, Pakistan have been blessed with more than 1,000 kilometers of coastline and 240,000 square kilometers of the EEZ with 50,000 square kilometer continental shelf. What do you think that where Pakistan is lacking regarding food security when it comes to the seafood, and what do you think the Pakistan needs to work on for the sustainable fisheries and their healthy ecosystem to come up with strong food security measures for the coming future?
Well, one thing is very important since the beginning of this entire humanity: food and sea, they are very much interconnected. Food, I mean, sea has provided lots of food to humanity. Uh, Coming to the Indian Ocean region, that will be a, I mean, narrow concept, but sea and food and human are eternally interconnected. As far as blue economy is concerned, blue economy, we need to transform this entire concept, because fisheries reforms are very much required. Illegal nets must be stopped, and modernization of deep sea trawlers, cold storage, all these, and many countries are doing sea farming as well. They are creating farms in the sea, and they are having billion-dollar trades of that, and they are fulfilling their food security needs out of these oceans. And then EEZ, as far as EEZ is concerned, so Pakistan is in need to extract all available resources, transform its fisheries department, and equip all the things with modern technology. That is much needed thing, I must say. And the blue economy is not just food. Activity on the coastal lines, it must also be enhanced. Activity in a sense that many coastal related tourism, and then with tourism, such resorts that attract people, then it will create small jobs. It will create all this marine activity that will not only create a good environment, but also it will enhance our food security and fishery as well, and especially illegal fishing that must also be checked.
So you belongs to the academia and you have served more than 25 years in the academia teaching students, and in the whole career, your career, you might have experienced these things that students have been taught with different things, different domains of Pakistan, but somehow there is the missing aspect of oceans and the blue economy and the maritime affairs. How do you think that understanding the basics of maritime affairs, basics of our oceans is crucial to understand these things, the non-traditional challenges, the traditional challenges?
That's a very, very interesting question. And in the maritime studies, there's one very important thing that is called sea blindness. So in Pakistan, it's all blind. I must say, because Pakistan has discussed all strategic thing, economic issues, and strategic dialogues that are historically land centric. They have not been much marine centric. So first of all, we are in need of it, and if we are diverting our all these discussions to marine, we will be in need of think tanks, we will be in need of experts, we will be in need of teachers, and we will be in need of such organizations that will make our students aware of the law related to the maritime affairs, that will make student understand the rules and regulation that are governing the sea, then environmental sciences, and then about marine pollution, and then the supply chain, the economic issues related to the seas. All these are needed to be taught to the students, and they should not be kept just in the classes. I see that there must be a cooperation and coordination with the Karachi Port Trust. I must say Pakistan Navy. They should take student to the tour to certain spots. They must show them the programs. They must involve them to all the students to these all entire activities. They must see, they must experience, they must study, and this will open jobs. This will open up the research domain of the maritime affairs in Pakistan. This is much needed. IPRI is doing something, and CRIMA, you people are doing a lot, but that's not enough. We are in need of many organizations like CRIMA, many organizations and research and think tanks like IPRI, who are not only doing research themselves but also inviting students to come. And we are in need of cooperation and coordination with the Pakistan Navy and the Karachi Port authorities. They must design such activities. They must invite students, and we must have some subject and curriculum that is having the practical aspect that students should go and understand sea. So we are in need of developing a complete academic and research base on marine studies.
So, ma'am, we are late, but we are not wrong that Pakistan is now looking towards ending this sea blindness, and we are late in this domain that we are realizing our potential in the maritime affairs in the blue economy. But what do you think that this is enough to end the sea blindness, or how do you think that there is a need to establish maritime conscious nation now? And as a policymaker or advising the policymakers, what key areas do you suggest to make Pakistan a resilient maritime nation in the coming decades?
4 or 5 things are very, very important. First of all, the establishing unified national maritime authority. Unified Maritime Authority, we will combine the federal government, the Sindh authorities, Balochistan authorities, and local authorities. This unification is a must, first of all. Then, secondly, maritime domain awareness, MDA, this is called. This is deployment of satellites to and monitoring the and AI vessel tracking. This is very, very important. Modernization of this entire domain. And third very important pillar is implement national coastal zone management plans. Whatever plans they made during their annual activities, these plans should not be just plans, they must be implemented in true letter and spirit. And then, fourth important pillar is re-engineering and reforming of blue economy and blue ecosystem that I have discussed before. And then launch of National Maritime Human Capital Initiative. That's very, very important. Specialized trainings, then manpower, the inclusion of local youth and the students. These 4 5 things are very important. It start from the bottom and come so from the top and come to the bottom. From top, a unified authority, then the government and the provincial governments, their combination, and then come to the research, and then come to the reforms of blue economy and all concept and all, and then there is the inclusion of students and the locals.
Thank you very much, Dr. Asiya, for joining us and spending time to discuss these things with us and to enlighten our audience on these important topics. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is our episode 3 of the Maritime Consciousness series. And we are thankful to our guest, Dr. Asiya Mukhtar, for sparing time for us and our audience to discuss on these things. And it is evident that maritime security not necessarily means naval fleets, naval modernization, and acknowledging the conventional security paradigms, but it encompasses climate security, energy security, food security, cyber security, even, and the great power competition. And this was wonderful thing to talk on and to acknowledge that Pakistan needs to work on creating a unified authorities and towards making a maritime conscious nation, that is resilient maritime nation. And this is your host Muhammad Subhan Saleem signing off until the next episode. Allah Hafiz.